Hello, beautiful souls. How are you? My name is Sharna. I am a pregnancy loss coach. I started going into this space because of my experience with pregnancy loss. So, what I want to share with you today is, like a six-step framework that you can sort of move yourself through. To move through the grief and the emotions and the pain after pregnancy loss. All right, so I have some slides ready, and here they are. So today I'll be talking about the self-healing circle. I have everything that I talk about within every aspect, every element of my business is things that I have done for myself. So I have walked myself through this as well, and I still do to this day, because grief just never leaves you. So a little bit about me. I am first and foremost now a mum to a 4-year-old. Which is why I do what I do, because I want to be able to spend time with her. I want to be able to be present in her every single moment of her life. In 2017, I experienced a miscarriage. We were trying to conceive for 5 years, and this was our first pregnancy. So I had a lot of pain and a lot of self-worth issues come up around this, because I thought that pregnancy was meant to be easy, and that having a miscarriage in my first pregnancy, I thought that meant I was never going to have children ever again. As I was moving through my grief and the aftermath of pregnancy loss, I realized there was not enough specific support in this space. There is a lot of grief, counselors and coaches and therapists out there, but that specific understanding for pregnancy loss and what women and what men go through was lacking. So I vowed to see a change in this space, and that's why I started my business. So in 2019, I founded the Institute of Healing through pregnancy loss, and started offering tangible support for women and for men to be able to start to process the grief, process the emotions, process the beliefs and everything that comes along with it, and process the fact that your whole entire world has been pulled out from underneath your feet. So I have now been certified as a life coach, a self-healing spiral practitioner, a womb light practitioner, and soon to be emotion code practitioner. So I'm going to be using a whole lot of different modalities within my business to be able to help women move through their emotions, reconnect to their divine feminine self, reconnect and heal their womb space, and be able to let go and release the energy of emotions. Okay, so getting to know the self-healing spiral. So it's essentially the name sort of says itself. The name explains itself. It's going to give you the ability to heal yourself. Healing is an ongoing and ever-evolving journey, but this is going to give you the strong foundations on where to start and firm practices to implement into your day to continue that healing process. So there are 6 steps to the spiral. So this is going to give you awareness on 6 different levels on how you can move through what you're feeling and move through your day-to-day life. It's going to give you the tools to confidently cope with anything that life throws at you. And it's going to grow your tool belt. So you'll be able to easily pull on things throughout your day to be able to get your body back to a place of neutral, back to a place of calm, and back to that feeling of safety within your body. Okay, so step 1 is the wound. Wounds are created from when we are children. And what happens is we carry these wounds with us and for the rest of our adulthood and the rest of our life. So when I was able to become aware of the wounds that I was carrying, I was able to then bring awareness at how that was actually playing out in my challenges, in my day-to-day life, and whether or not it was actually serving me. So it's going to give you a really, like I said before, a really strong foundation on how you can understand yourself deeper and why you respond or why you react the way that you do. And it's because these wounds were created. Bringing awareness to them is key, because when we are, like I said, between 2 and 3 years old, we don't know any different. We don't know that something potentially isn't true. We take everything as truth when we're that little. And we start to build beliefs around those, something that might have happened when you were that little, and it could have been as something as simple as just being told you couldn't have a glass of water. So we start to then create a belief that maybe that you aren't worthy for that glass of water, and then that belief then becomes part of you, and you start to then sort of see things from that perspective. And your wounds set the tone for how you show up in your day-to-day life. They set the tone for how you react in certain situations. And they will start to play out in our life's challenges, in our adversities, and definitely in pregnancy loss. It's a place that really heightened all of my wounds, because I felt like I wasn't worthy. I felt like I was a failure. I felt like, my body couldn't do the one job that it was designed to do. So all of my childhood wounds came out, and they were playing out in my day-to-day life. So really becoming aware of what wounds you are carrying, what masks they show to the outside world, and how you can start to reframe them, and how you can start to bring awareness to them and choose whether or not it is something that is serving you moving forward. So within a session with me, this is something that we would actually go through. We would go through a whole bunch of questions and figure out what wounds you are carrying and how we can move forward and reframe those. Step 2 is the emotion. Emotions aren't the enemy. Emotions are a messenger. Emotions are energy. Our whole entire body and being is energy. Emotions are just wanting to be seen, wanting to be heard, wanting the recognition that they deserve, wanting to be understood and released. They don't want to be ignored. They don't want to be suppressed. They want to be released. So all of these uncomfortable emotions, they all play a part and they play into the wound as well. But emotions can play the role of your very own healer. If you give them the time and the space that they deserve, like I said before, they are the messenger. They are here to show you something. We can get very, very good at ignoring them, at telling ourselves that it's not the right place to feel emotions, that they are uncomfortable, and they're not going to be comfortable. But we have to be able to lean into that feeling of being uncomfortable just for those few moments that it's going to take to be able to understand what emotion it is that's coming to you and understand why it's coming to you. Because when we suppress emotions and we ignore them, when we tell them that they aren't welcome in that moment, they will keep coming back. They will keep coming back, and they will come back more and more and more, and they'll come back harder and harder and harder until you sit up and listen. And suppression of emotions can also present to you in a physical form as well. So the longer you suppress the energy of that emotion, the longer you vibrate that energy, and it will start to manifest into a physical form. So you'll end up with physical ailments, discomfort, and disease. So essentially the most important part about this is that we have to be able to feel the emotions. And, a lot of what comes along with pregnancy loss is it's hard. It's really hard because it's stuff that, you're not prepared for. And there is a personal, you feel like you're personally responsible for everything that went wrong. There is guilt and shame and blame that comes along with all of that as well. And it's not easy to move through that. But just being able to give yourself that little bit of space to understand why it is that you're feeling that way is going to help those emotions and help those feelings move through you faster. And you'll be able to come back to a place of peace a lot sooner. So essentially, this is what I was talking about in the second slide as well, welcoming the emotion. So it seems counterintuitive to welcome the emotion, to sit there and honor that emotion and to create space for that. But this requires you to sit with your emotions and welcome them, because every emotion has a mission and it's coming to you for a reason. So within this section of the steps, you'll also learn how to communicate your needs to those around you as well without experiencing judgment or resistance from people around you. So we'll also learn ways that you can welcome the emotion and break down those barriers for yourself as well, because we'll often sit there and not want to welcome the emotion and not want to feel it because it is painful. But you will learn ways that we can um, break down that barrier, break down that resistance. Because when they are welcomed in, that's when they will feel seen and heard, and they will be able to be released. So transmutation is essentially changing. It's the action of changing, or the state of being changed into another form. So what we're doing here is we're transmuting what we perceive to be a negative emotion and thoughts and beliefs into ones that serve us moving forward. So essentially, emotions aren't negative or positive. They are just emotions. Our body just sees them as emotions. We are the ones that give it meaning as negative or positive emotions. So when we place that meaning on that emotion, that it's a negative emotion, we get that response, a physical response from our body. So we need to train our subconscious brain. So this is where all the automatic things happen for our body. It's where your body knows how to breathe, how to pump blood, how to regenerate your cells. But it's also the place where your body remembers trauma. It knows everything that you have ever felt, and it will swing into action with fear and anxiety if it feels that you will be in danger. So the function of the subconscious mind is to store and retrieve data, and that you act in that way that you have been programmed to. But some things, or sometimes this data needs to be reprogrammed. Our brain is like a big computer, and with computers, as you would know, with your computers and your phones, there's always upgrades. There's always things changing. And essentially, transmuting is an upgrade for ourselves. It's changing that programming and understanding where that past programming isn't serving us anymore, and then changing it into something that will moving forward. So to get to this point, though, we have to understand what the wound is that we are carrying with us, what emotions are coming to us, and how to welcome them so that we can change it. So we can change it for ourselves moving forward. With practice, so our body, to be able to heal, our body needs to feel safe. And when we are experiencing these traumas, our body is in fight or flight mode. It's in stress, anxiety, fear. And a lot of the time we react out of that place when we get triggered in our day-to-day life. Something someone says to us, something someone does, or something we see we might see someone down the street. We get triggered, and our body reacts from a place of fear. It reacts from a stress response. And when your body is in fight or flight, you are reacting from a trauma response, your body is unable to heal. It needs to be able to have a safe space. Now, being able to, this practice is quite quite simple in the sense that it's just breathing. Anulom vilom is a specific type of nostril breathing. You can also do, if you can't do this specific nostril breathing exercise, you can also do just deep breaths. They say, I think it was like 10 to 14 breaths a minute. And what that does is it stimulates the vagus nerve and the parasympathetic nervous system. So you could be triggered outside, in the outside world, down the street, at work, something someone says, or they don't validate how you're feeling after your loss. And you feel yourself getting tense. You feel yourself going into that fear, that anxiety response. Being able to just have this tool in your toolkit to be able to breathe and know that what you're doing is actually bringing you back out of that stress response, back out of that anxiety and that fear, and back into the parasympathetic nervous system. So the parasympathetic nervous system is responsible for your digestion, your immune system, and your heart. So it's responsible for all the things that we can't control. And like I said before, your body needs that space. It needs to know, it needs to feel that it's in a safe space, and it needs to feel safe. So bringing yourself out of that stress response and back into the parasympathetic nervous system is going to do that. So again, this is something that you could use if you were trying to conceive again after loss and continually going through those processes and those triggers in trying to conceive. It could be something that you could use going into ultrasound appointments after loss, because that is a huge trigger. I know for women, and for myself, it was the same. To be able to bring yourself back to that place of neutral, that place of calm within your body. So yeah, like this practice, again, within our time together, it's something that we can actually dive deeper into. But also, if you just want to have something that you can do out in the day-to-day world without having to do specific nostril breathing, just deep breaths, and it will stimulate the vagus nerve and send your body back into that parasympathetic nervous system.
Finish? No? Oh, we are probably doing the math text today.
Like I said before, so just deep belly breathing and relaxation activate the other parts of your nervous system. So doing those practices sends a signal to your brain to tell the anxious part of your brain that you are safe, and that you don't need to use the fight, flight, freeze response. So deep breathing gets more oxygen to the thinking part of the brain. And coming back to a place of love, because again, your body wants to feel loved. It wants to feel safe. And the only way that you can come back to a place of love for yourself and for everything that's happened is that you go through the first 5 steps first. You cannot be in a fight or flight response and tell yourself that you love yourself. Your mind is very good at making you believe what you want to believe, but your body remembers everything. So you have to be able to move through it, through your body first, without sort of you telling yourself that you are okay. Your body has to feel it. And to be able to get to this place of love, you need to be able to know what wounds that you are carrying, know what emotions are coming up, know how to welcome the emotions, know how to be able to process and get yourself out of that stress response. And then you can feel safe, and then you can be in that place of love. And coming back to a place of love for yourself and for your experience is the place that you want to end up. You want to have love for your life again. You want to be able to look forward to your life again. When we experience pregnancy loss, we feel we have done so much wrong. We feel that everything that we had done prior to that, the walk that we took, the glass of wine that we drank, everything is our fault, and everything that we did caused the loss. You didn't do anything wrong. You aren't a failure. Loving yourself for everything that you have mentally been through, for everything that you have physically been through, and not criticizing yourself for any decisions that you had to make in the moment that you had to make them. When you are at the beginning stages of healing, it's hard to see that being in a state of love. But this is the place that we ultimately want to be, in a place of love and a place of gratitude for all that we have. And it's also being able to forgive ourselves for everything that we went through, the decisions that we had to make, with the information that we had. Even if you never know why your loss happened, which I don't, I will never have an explanation for why my loss happened. Even if you never know why, being able to still love yourself and forgive yourself regardless. So this is the place that you ultimately want to be, so that you can move forward in your life and really experience the things in your life that you want. Obviously, keeping in mind that you can only control what you can control, and that is yourself. You cannot control anything else on the outside, but you can choose to control and choose to do these things for yourself to create the best life that you can for yourself. So all of what I have, like I said, I don't teach anything that I haven't already been through. I don't teach anything that I haven't already done myself. And what I want to do off the back of this is dive deeper into all of these different steps, all of the 6 steps, and for you to experience them firsthand on yourself as well. So if any of this resonated with you and you want to go deeper and you want to really understand each of the 6 steps and receive the practices that go along with them, so that you can learn how to heal yourself, you can learn how to come to that place of love for yourself and your life again, I am offering a 3-day interactive self-healing masterclass, which is going through all of these 6 steps over a 3-day period. And you can use the I've got a discount code here for you for the conference. You can use Grief20 at the checkout for your discount on the masterclass, because I want you to be able to experience what this is like. I want you to be able to experience healing in your life, because the pain can be so consuming. And I know way too many people that stay in the pain because they feel that that's that's their place of comfort. Nothing unknown is going to happen there. But they also, which I experienced myself, I wanted to stay in the pain because I felt like I'd be closer to my loved ones there. But what I realized was that for me to be able to heal, I was able to look back on my experience with so much more love and so much more appreciation of what I went through. And I can now say that I am so grateful for my pregnancy, my loss, because it's made me into the person that I am today. It changed the trajectory of my life. And, and I want people to be able to experience the magic that their life can hold on the other side of loss. So I don't know if this is going to work. No, the video didn't work. So what I was going to show you was how you can actually get to see, go to register. But what I want you to do, what I invite you to do, is connect with me on social media or send me an email. And what we can organize then is how you can register to for the masterclass at that point. It is on my website, which I was trying to show you, but it didn't work. I wasn't sure if the video was going to work. Just www.sharnasouthan.com. Or like I said, find me on social media. I'm the Institute of Healing _PL. Or you can email me at sharna@sharnasouthan.com. And I'm so happy to answer any questions that you might have that has come out of this. If you want to know more about the masterclass, I'm happy to talk to you more about that as well. But if you just want to jump in and you want to start your healing, then we can do that too. But I really just want to thank you for your time with me today. I want to thank you for listening in, and know that if you have experienced pregnancy loss, that you aren't alone and there is support available for you. I felt like I was the only woman that had ever experienced it in my life, and I don't want any more women or any more men to feel that way either. I don't want them to feel like they are alone, that they have to go this, one of probably the hardest things that we go through alone. But know that there is support for you. And on my website, there is a lot of free resources for you. On my Instagram, there is a lot of free resources for you. So even if you just wanted to take those up to start your healing, then absolutely, like I said, find me on social media and take those up. But today, I just wanted to thank you for being a part of this and listening in and listening to the 6 steps that you can start taking in healing yourself after pregnancy loss. Thank you.